Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to do something really different. You see, we're going to talk about Total War Battles Warhammer. I bet you guys haven't heard that in a while. Yeah, you see, this is a mobile game that was announced, a collaboration between NetEase, yes, I know, Creative Assembly and Games Workshop to bring Total War Warhammer in its own unique style. It wasn't actually going to be a port to mobile platforms and stuff, right? This was announced way back in 2020, and the last little bit of information that there was released in 2021. It's safe to assume that this project is as dead as can be. But there's a few reasons why I want to talk about this, because it was actually kind of interesting, and there's a few things that I kind of hope get salvaged and brought into Total War Warhammer. Yeah, I know, it sounds surprising, but you see, this game was kind of different to what you expect. You can see gameplay and like pre-rendered footage on screen right now. I actually got to play this, I believe, once during a closed alpha. Even then, despite the fact that I was given like a creator thing, we weren't able to record anything, we weren't able to show anything off. I was promised gameplay footage to make videos on it because I actually did like it, but they never got back to me. But yeah, you guys might remember this game actually from a long time ago when I said, oh look, Cafe, because the devs did a live interview and they were the first ever game devs, or even devs in general, to actively mention Cafe in a long time. This was long before Warhammer 3 was even announced, and when they mentioned it, I was absolutely certain that we would get Cafe, and lo and behold, we did. But yeah, so the battle was mobile style Total War, which was kind of cool. It wasn't really that difficult to learn. I actually thought the mechanics were fairly simple. But what really gave me a little bit of interest in this game was, despite the fact that it was a mobile project, which I don't really like mobile projects, they were promoting it, they were doing weekly info dumps on their official Discord, which I thought was really cool because, yeah, you know, that actually made people quite interested. They were showing screenshots of the game, they were introducing a bunch of characters, which we'll get back to a little bit later, trust me. But yeah, it looked fairly decent. Gameplay-wise, you could say it was very similar to Total War Arena, where you weren't really commanding large armies, you were just having a small amount of groups here and there, which obviously makes sense because you're using a mobile. And yeah, I mean, the battles were fluid, the battles actually played fairly well. They were kind of arcadey, but then again, we were a mobile game. The battles were going to last about, what, 2-3 minutes, which, yeah, pretty much is what is expected. I didn't get too much time on campaign with the build that was supplied. It was more of a testing out the battle features and so on, which I thought was alright anyway, because at the end of the day, this was considered an alpha, and we were expecting more builds. Many people are still in that Discord expecting a build for some reason though. Now, this is kind of common with mobile games where they'll get announced and they'll get pretty much deleted with a quiet basis. They won't even really announce that the game is dead. It could be assumed that the developers here were busy with other projects. I do believe NetEase were also busy with Diablo Immortal. That was its own little thing, wasn't it? But it's a bit of a shame, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because it's a Warhammer Fantasy game, and also it's directly linked to not only Games Workshop, but Creative Assembly too. Yes, this was linked up to be kind of like a bit of a side promotional thing with Total War Warhammer, with characters from the Total War series that we already know. So for example, Karl Franz, Balthasar Gelt, Tackless, Azag. There's a few others that would have probably been planned. I know that there was some screenshots with Ikit Claw and so on, so it could be safe to assume that they were going to add in as many characters as possible, and that's familiar, right? However, there is a little bit more to this game though. In terms of characters at the very least, I wouldn't be able to say more about gameplay, considering that gameplay was just very bare. They didn't show us that much. Again, alpha, right? But this series introduced characters that we still don't have in Total War Warhammer. For example, Gregor Martak, who is a Lore of Beast spellcaster. He was actually a big part of the End Times. Brunner the Bounty Hunter was also there. They had a character which was going to lead the Top Knots. This is a faction of Savage Orcs that you guys know from the Southern Badlands. And just a few others, you can see them here. The fact is, it was introducing characters that could have possibly been introduced for Total War Warhammer as a sort of cross-promotion thing. Could have been really cool. You see, they make it playable in this game, and then they go, and also FLC in Total War, right? I mean, that's the way I would see it, at least, because it would be very smart cross-promotion. There were some created characters which never existed in the lore. I'm imagining Games Workshop helped out with that, or even Creative Assembly helped out with that, as those two would be the driving force for this project, overseeing a few different things. But characters such as Brunner the Bounty Hunter, I mean, a lot of people want him as a sort of legendary hero, right? The fact is that obviously concept work was created for them. I'm not too sure how similar the rigs would be compared to that of Total War, but, you know, the concept art is there. These are characters which are clearly wanted. It would be a shame to see them be removed. I know from a fact, by the way, that I spoke to a dev who used to be in this project. I will not mention the dev's name just in case that gets them in trouble and so on, but apparently there was a elect account that was also redesigned to be a more modern style. If you don't know, elect accounts didn't really have that much artwork for them, barring, you know, Carl Franz and stuff. Some of them had models, but those models were pretty outdated. Not all of them have models too. So it's a pretty massive shame to know that there was a character that actually had a more modern redesign that might not actually get reused, right? The artwork and the concept, at least, could be used for Total War Warhammer. There's no point using it for Warhammer the Old World, considering that obviously that's set a few hundred years in the past. But again, these things do just kind of sound a little sad. Now, I'm not saying that this is a game that I would have played that much. At the end of the day, I don't really like mobile gaming. I'm more of a PC person. But there are people who are absolutely looking forward to this title. And yeah, it's just gone. Who knows what other goodies they might have had planned that we would have seen for the first time, possibly here, and then possibly in the future in Total War. Now, I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not going to mourn the loss of this game. You can see gameplay on screen right now. This is, well, their gameplay reveal, and even then it's quite heavily edited. But yeah, it was a good concept. But we've already got Total War Warhammer. I understand the interest, however, considering that obviously more and more day-to-day stuff for everyone is on their phone. But I'm still very much happy with a desktop PC, enjoying that. Yeah, I'm not going to really mourn the loss of this game, but it is a shame to see passionate devs, because they were quite passionate, the ones I spoke to at least, were very happy to be working on the Warhammer universe. But I wanted to talk about this today, mostly because, I'll tell you what, I was actually at Warhammer Fest talking with some people, and someone said, hey, whatever happened to Total War Warhammer Battles Warhammer? I was like, oh, wow, yeah, that's a thing. So I decided to do my research, and yeah, it looks like it's dead in the water, or at least either dead or they've gone very much dormant. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I figured we'll have a little fun discussion on Saturday, you know? As this has been eating away at me since Warhammer Fest, so I just wanted to discuss it. But yeah, have a lovely day, guys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.